Okay, people, good evening, everyone. Just making sure that everybody can hear me and the chat is working. Sorry about that, everyone. So, okay, we're all here. Everybody's okay. You all have the microphone. You have the chat in front of you. So if you need anything, you can just either use your microphone or you can use the chat. We are in chapter 3, people, of our book, Introducing English Semantics. Right now, as I said, all of your lectures have already been uploaded. Your final exam will only come from the slides that are in front of you and from the book. If there's something that is, the section is not there included in the slides, it means it will not be included in the exam. So please read from both slides and lectures, as I always say, both slides and book, because the book has a glossary and it has many other examples that will help you in your study. Okay, let's just go ahead and load the content. Hold on, wait while I load. Okay, so here we are. We're in chapter 3, and remember, we are calling it the dimensions of meaning because meaning, we said, has many parts. Very quickly, we looked at what we said is the Ogden and Richards triangle of meaning, and we said that yes, it seems to be okay, but it's an old theory. It's in 1923. Some of the concepts that are here are not very well systematic enough or scientific enough because of the concept that is here, the concept of the idea that it's in people's heads, that meaning is somewhere. Why isn't this working here? Meaning is somewhere in the idea of everybody, that everybody has the same mental picture, and we said this is not possible. Now, what we are saying is that a lexeme has to have a form, an actual form like TREE, and it has to refer to something in the outside world. If it doesn't refer to something in the outside world, then it's no longer a lexeme. This is our main definition of what the lexeme is. It has to refer to either an object or to an activity. So it could be either a noun or a verb or an adjective, for example, like red, because red is a description of something in the outside world. So that's the main thing. This is what we mean by a lexeme. And we differentiated between what we called reference and denotation. Now, reference is when you actually point to something in the outside world. اللي هي الإشارة أو المعرفة الأشياء المعرفة. When you can point to it in the external world, it's reference. But the denotation is basically the dictionary meaning. So you need two things. You need to point to something in the outside world, and before you can identify it, you have to know its denotation, its meaning, the dictionary, because if you don't know the meaning, you will not be able to identify what we call the referent. And we said the referent, it's that actual thing that is outside in the world, the actual tree that you're pointing to. So, in addition to that, what the modern theory says is the following. Yes, we are supposed to know the denotation, the meaning of a word before we can identify it. But in our mind, we don't have just one single picture. We have what is called as an extension of a lexeme. And what is the extension? The extension is a set of all the possible things that can be it, or that can denote it. So if we have the word bird, for example, you don't only have your mind an image of one single bird, What you have in your mind is an extension of an image. That means you have a set of all possible objects that can be called birds. So you have this, which is called the sparrow. You have the parrot, you have the eagle, you have the duck, which is also a bird. You have the ostrich, naama, which is also a bird. It can include, your extension can also include, for example, the fakma, or the penguin. Why? Because you think he looks like a bird. He has those wings, and he has the beak, and he has 2 legs. He doesn't fly, but the naama bardu doesn't fly. Okay? So you can have, your set can include the penguin as well. But in any case, you don't have one single image. You have many pictures of the word bird. And then you can identify which one that I'm talking about. And this one would be the referent. If I say, look at the bird, and you identify which bird I'm talking about, that would be the referent, the actual thing in the outside world that you are pointing to. So the referent is the actual thing that you're pointing to in the external world. Now, in addition to the extension of Alexim, speakers also have, native speakers also have in their mind a prototype. So not only do they have an extension of Alexim, they also, and remember, an extension is a set. It's not just one image, it's a set of objects. Now, the prototype is an object or a referent that is considered to be typical. Yes, we have an eagle, you have an ostrich, you have a penguin, you have a duck, you might have a swan, so many things that fall under bird, a chicken. But which one is the most typical one of the whole set? The typical one is the one that you see most often. That's the prototype. So the prototype of a bird would probably be this one, right? This is the bird you see most often and that is typical in your environment. It's not going to be the eagle because, how many times do you see eagles? And it's not going to be a duck because you don't see ducks moving every day around you. Or the naama definitely is not the prototype of the word bird, nor is the fakma. He's not the prototype. So therefore, these 2 technical terms, extension and prototype, were developed by scientists so that they can clarify the system that Ogden and Richards first did of one mental picture. And we know that one mental picture of a word is not enough. And so therefore they introduced the idea of extension and prototype to make Ogden's theory of meaning much more scientific and much more systematic. So this is the one, remember when we said at the very beginning we're going to be looking at 3 aspects of meaning: the reference, the connotation, and the sense. Now this is the second thing that we're looking for. We finished with reference, and now we want to look at what we call the connotation of a word. Every word has reference, every word has denotation, but what is the connotation? Now, let's look at the very beginning and say a word like dog has to have certain denotation. And the denotation obviously is the dictionary meaning, the objective meaning. And this word dog, this denotation, makes it possible for it to go into various referring expressions. Meaning, because you know the meaning of the word dog, you can put dog as referring expressions in many sentences. You can say, for example, this dog is a puppy. And this dog obviously is a referring expression. Why is it a referring expression? Because it refers to a particular dog. Remember, all referring expressions have to point to something in the outside world. And it's very easy to find clues. Whenever you have the word this, or that, or these, it immediately tells you that this is a referring expression. Why? Because this and that is asma ishara. Okay? You're pointing to it. So obviously it has to be a referring expression. So you can say this dog is a puppy. You can say my children have just bought a dog. You can put it in as an indefinite noun phrase with a. You can do that. You can say several dogs. So not just dogs, you can put dogs in the plural. So Yes, as long as you know the denotation of the word dog, the meaning of the word dog in the dictionary, you can put it into various referring expressions. But the main thing that we're looking for here is the connotation. How do you feel about dogs? Or how does a particular society or a community value dogs? So dog not only has the denotation or the dictionary meaning, it also includes the attitudes, the feelings of a society and an individual. This is part of its meaning. The emotional association that it elicits, that it brings out. And you cannot take it away from the meaning. The meaning is not just denotation. So, the meaning of anything is not just its dictionary meaning. It also has emotional and attitudinal meanings that it arouses. Let's see what we mean. For example, the word dog in the Western world, in England or in America or whatever, has what we call positive connotations. Positive as opposed to negative. Every word has to have either positive, and we usually supply it by the plus sign, or it can have negative connotations, and we usually give the minus sign, or it can be neutral. We have no feelings towards this at all. Neutral. It's neither yes nor no. It's just neutral. So when we look at a word like dog, it will be positive for the West, for people in England and France and in America. Because the dog is a pet, the dog is a friend of many of a pet, a friend for children. It's called man's best friend. Dogs help people. Dogs are, they help the blind, for example. Dogs help policemen. Dogs have good, positive connotations, not denotation. You're not going to see any kind of positive or negative when you look at the dictionary. The dictionary will only give you the objective, the denotation. The meaning that everybody agrees on, that the dog is an animal with 4 legs and a tail. It will not tell you that it's positive and people like it and it's a man's best friend and children have it as pets. All of that, not part of its denotation. But it is part of its connotation. And so the attitude that you feel towards a certain word is also part of its meaning. Now, this connotation changes according to the culture. In our culture, in Saudi Arabia, for example, or many of the Arab world, a dog does not have positive connotations. It has negative connotations. Basically because many of us, from a religious point of view, think that it's no min al-najasa. You can't pray if you have a dog. You can't pray if you touch a dog. Some people will tell you that if you touch a dog, you